we will have our Rappler senior investigative reporter, Lian Buan, live from The Hague. Lian, can you give us updates from there?
Yes, Jairo, once again, it was an emotional time having to listen to the prosecution relive all the incidents of killings that happened in the Philippines. It's really still chilling to watch again and hear again the details. But just to remind you of kung ano yung sinabi ni trial lawyer Robin Croft kanina, Robin Croft basically was tasked to demonstrate to the judges na mapapatunayan nila yung common plan and that there is a policy of killing and that they can satisfy all the elements of crimes against humanity. They reiterate once again that they have 76 incidents covered under the charges, which are 3 counts. But they also say that even though the 76 satisfy already the standard to show a conduct or a policy of killing, sinasabi nila na it's just representative or emblematic of the more widespread killings that happened. At sabi nga ni Robin Croft kanina, they have evidence also to show the thousands other killings that are not necessarily included in the charges. Sabi nila meron silang mga ebidensya gaya ng dataset sa mga independent organizations who have documented these killings while they were happening from 2016 to 2019 kasi yun yung end ng coverage ng ICC. Meron silang mga insider witnesses who will tell the judges or who will show the judges how this was a policy of killing. And once again, admission of government agencies such as the admissions of co-perpetrators tulad ni Duterte, magagamit ang kanilang mga salita laban sa kanila. The prosecution has also already referred to an expert witness. An expert witness is something you present in court that's not a witness, insider witness, that's not a victim, pero merong sapat na pag-aaral. At sabi ng expert witness na to who has studied political violence in the Philippines, kung titignan mo daw ang datos niya, from before President Duterte to during President Duterte, ang patayan sa police operation ay nag-increase by 598% nationwide. Doon nga lang daw sa Bulacan, ang patayan na merong kinalaman ng mga police during the time of Duterte has increased 1,600%. The expert witness asked by the prosecution, the only plausible explanation for this ratio is their traditional killings. By the end of the presentation of the prosecution, sinabi ni Robin Croft or nilatag ni Robin Croft kung paano nila papatunayan that Duterte has an individual criminal responsibility for the crimes charged. Number 1, sabi ni Robin Croft, Duterte agreed to a common plan. Number 2, Duterte and co-perpetrators jointly controlled a structure of power that's both the Davao Death Squad at yung National Network. So whenever you hear the phrase National Network, they are referring to Oplan Tokhang, PNP double barrel, or anything that has happened in the name of the war on drugs when he was president. At pangatlo, Duterte did all this with the requisite intent. Again, they are always reiterating that there's the element of intent. Kasi kailangan nilang patunayan that every time Duterte says something, every time Duterte says to kill and I will protect you, kill and I will promote you, that he intended a crime to happen. To quote the earlier trial lawyer, Edward Jeremy, he said, Mr. Duterte indeed was not joking whenever he said to kill. Sa lahat ng mga co-perpetrators kanina, nagkaroon talaga ng highlight kina Senator Bato de la Rosa, former PDEA Chief Isidro La Peña, former PNP Chief Vicente Danao, and former Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre. These were all Davao men before they occupied national positions when Duterte was president. Their speeches were played or presented or showed kanina sa trial for the prosecution to say that the speeches of these co-perpetrators showed that they adhered or they agreed to the common plan. Robin Croft closed her presentation by saying that there can be no doubt of Duterte's knowledge and intent to commit allegedly crimes against humanity of murder in the Philippines from 2011 to 2019, Jairo.
Lian, for the viewers lang, Napaka-methodical nung naging presentation ng trial lawyer na si Croft, di ba? Nilagay niya, in-establish niya yung crimes against humanity, the elements of it, and then toward the end, nabanggit mo na rin kanina yon, in-explain niya yung individual criminal responsibility nitong si Duterte for our viewers, for the benefit of the viewers. Bakit in cases like this, bakit importante na ninanarrate natin yung individual criminal responsibility o kung gaano yung extent ng involvement ng isang suspect sa isang krimen?
To simplify it as simple as possible, Duterte did not pull the trigger. Duterte did not point the gun and kill the people whose killings are included in these charges. Kaya nga siya tinatawag na indirect co-perpetrator kasi hindi siya mismo yung pumatay. At para ma-charge or malitis si Duterte for crimes against humanity, they need to establish that he has an individual criminal responsibility kahit pa hindi siya yung bumunot ng barel at pumatay. Kasi di ba in local criminal cases, you need to prove that this person, your suspect, really pulled the trigger and killed the victim. Meron pa nga tayong mga elements of murder like treachery. Dapat talagang merong practice, parang nag-exercise ka ng treachery over your victim. It's a whole different animal when it comes to the ICC trying an international crime such as crimes against humanity. They rarely prosecute small fish. Hindi sila magpo-prosecute ng pinakamaliliit na pulis. Ang ipoprosecute nila yung mastermind. And to be able to try or at least confirm the charges against the mastermind, they need to show that Duterte has an individual criminal responsibility, and they have been trying to show that by saying that he created the Davao Death Squad, he replicated the Davao model into the national network, he published a list, and they have insider witnesses who say that when they see this list, it is a kill list, a direct order from the president to kill.
Lian, let's talk about dun sa closing ni Croft. Kasi after detailing, kasi kahapon, yung prosecutor from the prosecution, in-explain nila yung count 1 kanina, si Jeremy, yung count 2 and 3, si Croft naman dun sa contextual elements of crimes against humanity and then yung individual responsibility. I have to commend Croft on that closing kasi na-summarize niya why Duterte was responsible. Number 1, sinabi ni Croft na nag-promise si Duterte na tatanggalin niya yung drug and criminality in 3 months, and then pinakita ni Croft napakasakto na nag-spike yung cases after that. Ano naging reaction dyan sa crowd? Ano naging reaction mo personally that Croft decided to end on that note?
Alam mo, kanina, if you observe everyone who's in that gallery, we really started on a heavy note. Having to watch the CCTV of Benjamin Visda once again, having to hear the word of Kian once again. Talagang paglabas nga namin for the 30-minute break, we really said that that's heavy. At kung pwede sanang umuwi na kung wala ng Pilipinong magsasalita. But Attorney Gilbert Andres is due to speak later on. Kay Robin Croft, mas tahimik yung gallery. Maybe because there aren't many specific incidents of killings. What I've observed, Jairo, in this gallery is that may visceral reaction talaga sa gallery kapag detailed and graphic yung pag-narrate ng mga pagpatay. Doon talaga bumabalik sa mga Pilipino yung nangyari. It's as if it just happened. It just happened yesterday. Marami ring visceral reaction every time they play a speech of President Duterte, as if hindi pa natin naririnig yun lahat. We've probably heard these speeches 100 times, especially for our team who had to transcribe and fact-check all of these speeches across the years. Kabisado ko na yung sinasabi ni President Duterte. But yes, mas nagre-react talaga ang mga tao kapag merong specific incidents of killings na nababanggit ang prosecution.
Lian was referring to Rodrigo Duterte, not Ferdinand Marcos. Lian, just for my last question, Lian, we're not lawyers, we're not international lawyers, and we cannot gauge the evidence. We don't have that privilege and responsibility to do that. But in your assessment, as a journalist covering this drug war in the last years, early in your career, now you're at The Hague covering the pre-trial. important na ma-establish ang elements of crimes against humanity. And the threshold required to move to trial is substantial grounds to believe that ginawa itong allegations na to. Tingin mo ba itong prinesenta ng prosecution in the last kahapon at today ay enough para maniwala at ma-satisfy itong pre-trial chamber natin na may substantial grounds nga to believe?
Jairo, I will quote an expert. I interviewed before an expert on crimes against humanity. She was formerly crimes against humanity advisor for Prosecutor Karim Khan. She teaches in Washington University. Her name is Professor Laila Sadat. And she told me that she's very confident that the prosecution ought to be able to confirm the charges against Duterte just on the speeches alone. Sabi nga ni Professor Sadat, the speeches of Duterte and the co-perpetrators are evidence that the prosecution dreams of having. At ito, on a silver platter, open sourced, pinagmamayabang pa. And as you said, it's because ang threshold pa lang naman sa level na to ay substantial grounds to believe. We have moved from reasonable grounds to believe, and now if the judges think that there's substantial grounds to believe na ginawa ni Duterte yung binibintang sa kanya, they will move to trial. So I will quote an expert just on the basis of his words when he says, "Kill and I'll protect you, kill and I will promote you." Those, she says, are substantial grounds to believe, to move to trial. But I also got to add that as a journalist, what really is remarkable on me, ito talaga yung mga merong circle sa notes ko, ay they have witnesses within who are privy to the Oplan Tokhang operation. We previously reported on death squad witnesses, widely reported on that. It really surprises me na ang dami nilang quotes, ang dami nilang observations of witnesses who knew that when Duterte said to kill this person, the cops would really kill. Chilling yung isang quote kanina ng insider witness, it was hunting season, it was killing spree, and 32 were dead that time.
Lian, last lang talaga. Really interesting point that you mentioned itong prosecution witnesses privy on the details about the Oplan Tokhang, because as you know, as reporters covering this, we're only familiar with witnesses testifying about the DDS killings. They are Matobato and Las Cañas. Do you have any idea? Meron bang mga umuugong dyan? Meron bang mga insider information dyan that you can share? Meron bang idea ang media na nandyan, ang foreign or local media, who might be these witnesses? Isa lang ba ito? Meron bang idea?
I'll keep my answer short. Some of us do have an idea of how many these insider witnesses are, and we have had a clue for a time now, but of course, that was not on the record until earlier when the prosecution presented at least anonymous quotes of these witnesses.
Just a last follow-up on that. Yung name ng witnesses ba to, are we expecting the victims' lawyers to mention these witnesses, the names of these witnesses also, or sa trial pa talaga natin marinig yung mas detalye nito at yung pangalan ng mga witnesses?
At the stage of the pretrial proceedings, no witnesses will be identified. That's in spite of Nick Kaufman petitioning the pretrial chamber to at least name some of them. Sabi niya nga, it's not a secret to the Philippines who some of these people are. Pero dinanay siya ng pretrial chamber because they said even though transparency is a core feature of the court, they also want to preserve the integrity and they want to be able to ensure the safety of these witnesses. So wala ka tayong mapapangalanan na witnesses at this stage.
Thank you for that clarification. That's Lian Buan, our senior investigative reporter, reporting live from The Hague, Netherlands. Later on, we will try to get Lian again for her reactions and other reports as the ICC pre-trial Chamber 1 continues its hearing for Duterte's crimes against humanity cases.